Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and yes, it is Friday. What am I doing here? Today we've got a fun bonus Friday video for you because I stumbled upon this brand new foundation from YSL and I was super excited to share my thoughts with you. So I thought, why wait till Saturday? Why wait? Let's just get on with it now. So this is the Touche Eclat Le Teint Creme and I have a story to share with you. So as you guys know, if you've been here before, if you've watched my foundation reviews, I try my best to avoid foundations with a very poor shade range. Usually YSL has a okay, it's not great, has about 30 shades, could be more inclusive at the deeper end, but you know, not the worst. Definitely one that I would consider reviewing. Now I got an email into my inbox direct from YSL, I mean an automated one, it's not like Yves emailed me personally, but I got an email announcing that this was on the website and clicked straight through. I know what shade I am in YSL, so I just ordered my shade. Next day delivery, mega excited to try this. I haven't seen anybody mention this. I haven't seen it being launched. I haven't seen any sneak peeks of it. I have seen nothing about it. So I was hyped to get my mitts on it ASAP. And then I came to film it and I went back on the website and had a look so I could put up how many shades it is and all the information about the foundation. And that's when I saw this. So I did consider panning the review and not reviewing it because obviously this shade range is an actual embarrassment. I mean, you can't actually call it a shade range. This despicable spattering of shades that is currently on their website is abysmal. I am currently wearing the darkest shade possible. Me, a white person, in my winter shade in February. I'm the deepest shade. Just let that soak in. However, given that I'd already given them my money, I decided to carry on and just talk about this instead and just give us a place to talk about it instead of just pretending none of this show happened. However, having said that, my thoughts, my hopes are that this is some kind of weird like pre-launch because I haven't seen any information about it, any details, any announcement, any promo, nothing about this foundation anywhere. It is only available currently on the YSL site itself. So I have seriously high hopes that this is some kind of like, here's just a few shades to throw out to get some reviews up. Maybe they've had a similar issue that ABH had and shades are delayed and they've only got the light range in. It's highly suspicious to me that their original Touche Eclat Le Teint has 30 shades and this has got 7. It doesn't add up. There are no warm shades, there are only neutral and cool. And only a few of each at that. So I really feel like this may not be the whole shade range. That's what I'm hoping for. Let us all just say a little prayer. So anyway, back to the foundation. As I said, I ordered it directly from the YSL website. That is the only place it's currently available. I will say, I highly recommend you don't order from there. I had a disastrous experience. It is still ongoing. It was hell. The customer service was awful. The communication is non-existent, terrible. Can't get an answer out of them, continue to chase them to get this resolved. So that's just a little bit of a heads up if you were considering. I would wait to see if there's more shades, wait until this is available on better equipped websites. So there are very few claims / information about this foundation. It's described with very few words and very few bold claims. It just solely claims to be a full coverage, luminous foundation with some skincare ingredients in there. It doesn't claim to be long wearing or waterproof or transfer proof or anything else really. It's a very simple description, which is rare these days. I also have a suspicion that this possibly might be replacing the reformulated Touche Eclat Le Teint, because why have two foundations essentially called the same thing? This is also, as you will notice, in the same packaging as the All Hours foundation with just the gold detail instead of the black that the All Hours has. So I am highly suspicious. If you don't know, the original Touche Eclat Le Teint was reformulated like a couple of years ago now, and people hated the reformulation. People who were obsessed with the original formula of that one were very angry, rightly so, that it got reformulated. I only ever got to try the reformulated version and wasn't a big fan. It wasn't actually very luminous, it didn't have great coverage, and it didn't wear particularly well. So that is my wonder, my question is, maybe this is a reformulation of the reformulation. Who knows at this point? Something really odd is going on here. But anywho, without further ado, let's whack some foundation on my face. Disappointing. So as always, I have prepared my skin using my Tatcha silk canvas, and then I'm going to go half a face with my beauty blender, which is damp, and half a face using my Sigma F80 to see if there's a difference and if there's a preferred method of application. So for the sponge side, I felt like this built coverage very nicely, very quick and easy. I'm experiencing a bit of a flare up with my rosacea at the moment, and this covered it absolutely no problem. It does have that same YSL scent to it. It's that sort of fresh, grassy type fragrance that you can smell. It's quite heavy to smell on the palette, but it doesn't, you can't really smell it as you're applying it, and I certainly can't smell it now I'm wearing the foundation a couple of hours later. I think it went on really nice and smooth. I definitely think this is more of a medium to full as opposed to a crazy full coverage. Definitely a similar coverage and finish to the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydrating. And now for the brush side. I didn't like the brush side as much. I definitely feel this is one that I prefer with a sponge. I just think it was kind of a little trickier to work into the skin. Not hard, it was still fine, it still went on okay. But it was definitely one that I preferred with a sponge as far as getting the coverage and it just seamlessly blending into the skin. I think the brush maybe looked a little less smooth of an application, so then I went back in and I just built up a little bit, evened everything out with my sponge, and now we've got a pretty decent full coverage, but still not like a complete mask. And you can see that really super luminous finish that it has. I then took a flash photo to see if there was any bounce back, and I think it photographs beautifully. I think it really looked beautiful in the flash photos. Absolutely no problems whatsoever. So I have now finished the rest of my makeup, and this foundation has now been on about 1 hour. Everything went on top, absolutely no bother. If you notice anything weird, by the way, in between my brows, I've got a little bit of peeling from my retinol, so that's not the foundation doing that, that's my skincare doing that. But yeah, everything went on top beautifully. I used my Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light one, so a liquid highlight, and then I didn't set it with powder. I just set my concealer areas under my eye, nose, chin, and a little bit between my brows with my Pat McGrath powder, and I used my Pat McGrath concealer today as well. I then went in with powder products on the top, a little gently at first because I didn't set the foundation with powder, because I rarely do set my foundation with powder, and I want to see how the foundation does by itself. I don't want to change the finish, and I don't want to help it wear better with the powder that I use. So I really want to see how this foundation does by itself. It's feeling slightly tacky still, and as I press my hands into the foundation there's definitely some transfer. It's not going to be transfer proof, I don't think, by any stretch of the imagination, because it is a glowier, more luminous finish. So I really seriously doubt that this is going to be one for you if you want a completely transfer proof foundation. However, where I press my hands, you can see there's no lifting off or marks left in the foundation, so that's a bonus. So I'm just going to give you a super close up look of the foundation now that it's had, you know, an hour or so to settle in. It's definitely soaked into my smile lines, not the worst, but not the best either. My forehead is definitely reminding me of the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydrating. It's definitely exaggerating forehead lines as that one did. It's not terrible, but yeah, it's definitely exaggerating them. My textured chin area looks okay, but again, I've seen foundations kind of flatter this area where there's lines and creping and things like that, and just texture around here and my smile lines. I've definitely seen foundations look better in this area, but again, not the worst. I do love the glowy finish. I think it's really super pretty. So as usual, I'm going to give this a good 8 hours now. I've got 2 gymnastic sessions today. We've got school run. It is like Armageddon outside, hammering with rain. This has been placed here ironically, just so you know. There's no sunshine to be had today. It is hammering down. Got a busy day with school runs, running around, multiple visits to the gymnasium. So let's see how this foundation holds up. If it's gonna last, you know, the minimum 8 hours required to even call yourself a foundation these days. I'll see you in a few. Okay guys, we are back by the magic of time travel and editing. But here we are. We are here, and here is where we are. I don't have a huge amount to say, honestly. It's a little bit underwhelmed is how I feel, honestly, in my heart. Let's zoom in and check out the tea up in my face area. So here's the close-up situation. It doesn't look bad. I think it's worn fairly well. It's a little shiny on the nose, as you can see. It's a little shinier around my forehead. I'm pretty normal, but I guess I lean more towards the oily side. There's no dryness within my soul. I don't think this foundation would suit people with like dry patches because of the retinol issue I have here. It doesn't look great in that area, and I feel like that's kind of the equivalent of like dry flaking skin. So if you have that as a problem, I don't think this is gonna flatter that, would be my guess. I don't think this is gonna work for oily skin. You can see around my nose, it's getting shiny down here, it's getting shiny around here, and like I said, I'm not oily really, especially not at the moment. It has been a kind of testing day for this foundation. You know, 8 hours is the minimum that I need a foundation like to pass that test for. Lots of people work a minimum of 8 hours and then have, you know, travel and things like that. So it needs to be looking like holding up at the 8 hour mark at least, which I think it is. It's a little shinier, but that's about it. I did give my daughter a big like cheek to cheek hug earlier, and there was no makeup on her face when we pulled away, which often does happen with a more luminous foundation, and it doesn't feel tacky anymore. I like the finish and I like the coverage. Like I said, it doesn't look the best on my forehead lines. It very much looks like the Estee Lauder did. It's not flattering my lines, it's definitely kind of emphasizing them in that area. It's also soaked into smile lines, as I said earlier. This area, you can see a little bit of wear on my chin, and I also think this area looks a little, I don't want to say cakey because I think that's a bit harsh, but it looks a little heavy in the muzzle zone, if you will. So yeah, it's not blown my mind. I definitely prefer the overall look of the Estee Lauder. If you're looking for the super luminous, skin-like, glowy foundation, the Estee Lauder wore better and looked better here. The rest of it was pretty similar, but obviously the Estee Lauder has SPF and this one does not have any SPF. So it really depends what your preferences are. I think if you have immaculate, smooth, normal skin, this might look really beautiful on you. But yeah, for me, where there's early signs of aging in my skin, there's things like fine lines, I've seen better. Let's leave it there. So those are my overawing thoughts. Those are my conclusive conclusions. I'm wasted here. I don't think this is groundbreaking. I am going to continue to use it over the next few days. I'll try it set. I'll just play around with it. But like I said, I do have foundations that kind of sit in this category that I prefer. I prefer the Estee Lauder. I prefer the Fenty Hydrating. I prefer the ABH Luminous. I prefer the Shiseido. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but in that category, that luminous, medium to full, glowy category, this is like at the bottom of that category for me, I feel. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to give it a few more chances. I think it's one that the more time went on, the more I liked it. I think when I first applied it, I was like, oh, it's looking heavy and cakey and kind of sitting on top of the skin. But a few hours into the wear, it definitely settled in and became one more with my face, if you see what I mean. But yeah, it's still in those areas that I have issues, like lines, like texture and aging, like oils. It's not delivering the goods. It's not hiding my sins, hiding my flaws. It's not doing that, and that's what I need, you know. So I hope you found this helpful. I'm interested to see what the situation is, what the real tea is with this shade range, and whether there are many more shades coming, warm tone shades coming, fair shades coming, deep, dark, tanned and medium shades coming. I'd love to see that happen. But yeah, if you've tried this, please let me know. If you even have heard about it, please let me know, because I think at the moment it's just me and you guys. We're the only ones who know about this. I hope you found this review helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.